man's got fire and a wild hot take. Hey, Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Hey, laughing loud when your team goes down. Hey, Straub boys run this sports town. Show. Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. Hey, college game day and Thursday night. Hey, rivals fall and the banter flies. Hey, we bleed our teams till the day we die. Hey, S-T-R-A-U-E, two loud mouths and a love for the league. From Cleveland roots to the world we go. This is the Straub Bro Sports Show.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the thing that they says in the song, the Straub Bro Sports Show. Big Bro Ken rocking with you as always with little bro. How we doing? It's been a long week.
It has been a long week, but the one thing that has made this week absolutely amazing is the thing that we are both wearing. And we're going to talk about Cleveland Guardians.
You're talking about the Cleveland Spiders, the roller derby team. That's no. First things first. Yep, Ray was in first, so he gets the first shout out. What's up, Ray? I'll be seeing you later. If you know, you know. Mom, what's going on? Love you, of course. Always your favorite guy. And Pops is in the building as well. Love you, Pops. Love you, Mom. Big shout out to Ray. All right, let's do this. You said it. You started with it. And that's what we're starting with. The hottest team in all of sports. All of sports. There is not a team in any sport right now that is hotter than your Cleveland Guardians. Drew, just a couple weeks ago, the first show that we had when we came back after the Rapid season, we sat here and talked. And I said that this was going to be a wild card team at the beginning of the season. And I said, oh, man, there's only a 4% chance that this team was going to make the playoffs. And just a couple of short weeks later, not only are we in the driver's seat in the wild card, get that out of here. We're now in the driver's seat in the division. We have taken, I think it's 7 of, however, we've only lost one game to Detroit here in the last couple of weeks when we've had these back and forth series. They've wiped out that lead. They are now, I think it's a game. Are we a half game? Is a game ahead in the one game ahead in the division. We own the tiebreaker in the division over the Tigers. We own the tiebreaker in the wild card over the Houston Astros. Drew, October to remember, as our man Tom Hamilton says. Are we playing playoff baseball, bro?
So I want to give you credit because obviously you said the wild card thing. However, there was another person on this show that said that not even just the wild card, that they would win the division.
Who was that?
That was the other part of the Straub Bro Sports Show that maybe a month ago was extremely regretting that decision, but right now is acting like he absolutely called it, nailed it, was never in doubt. Anyways.
First of all, we might have to change the song. It might be Drew Has Hot Takes because when college football segment rolls around, you got something hot off the presses as well that you nailed last week. So no Strabdadamus over here.
I'm killing it. However, I will say this has been a record-breaking run that I don't think any of us can see coming. It's almost as impressive as the win streak in 2017.
Man,
just because obviously everyone who paid attention to the Guardians has seen the graphic, 15 and a half games back in July, all doom and gloom, looks like everything was going wrong. But then you just seem to have, and I want to give, like I said, I think I did this last week. You want to give full credit to Stephen Vogt here because this team, regardless of the losing streaks, the winning streaks, whatever, always had the same mentality. We're taking it day by day. We're getting back into this thing. And you can see the players kind of rallying around this. Obviously, moving to the 6-man rotation was key. I just saw a stat today that it blew my mind. If we're going from, I want to say it is September 1st.
Okay.
The Guardians pitching staff has given up 34 runs. The next highest team, or the next, I guess, lowest team, gave up 76. This pitching staff has completely turned it around from the beginning of the year. They look absolutely phenomenal. Both the games against Detroit this series, our starters have looked virtually untouchable except for a couple at bats, and especially going into later innings where we've seen them struggle. They finish strong. They finish their outings, and they give this team a chance to get back in the lead. And it's exactly what they're doing. Now, obviously, we've had some help from other teams kind of messing up, but that's what you need in a race like this.
That's the other part of this. And trust me, I'm going to give all my love to my Guardians. But you can't have an historic comeback without a historic collapse. And Detroit has absolutely fallen apart. They don't look like a team that wants to win baseball games right now. Shout out to our poor uncle, who is a Tigers fan, who is just not happy about this. But, bro, I got some stats, too. You mentioned the pitching. Here's your stat of the week. WHIP, walks plus hits per inning, 0.87 as a team over the last 2 weeks. That's why we're in this thing right now.
Yeah.
The other reason that we're in, now I know you do not like when I talk about batting average.
Because it doesn't give a true representative, but I understand.
Right now it's 321. But
That's
how about
fantastic.
Right. Over the last 2 weeks, or over the last week, I should say, this team is batting 321. But how about this? On base, 400. Slugging, 721. I'm sorry, a 721 OPS, a 400 slugging. That 321 is their on base. Okay? But here's the big one. Remember this stat I had a couple weeks ago, that RC27, that thing that didn't make any sense?
None at all, but that's okay.
6 players, okay, for your Guardians are above 5 right now, which is runs created per 27 outs. If I take a player, duplicate him through the lineup, how many runs does he give me? Jan Kenzie is at 5.9. Kwan's at a 7.7. Hosey's at a 9.5. Remember, these are last 2 weeks. This is during this streak. Bo Naylor is a 9.6. Petey Haplin is a 10. And Georgie Valera is a 14.5. Now, obviously, some of those guys on the bigger end are smaller sample sizes, but here's the biggest thing for me. David Fry is now out 6 to 8 weeks after a horrific-looking injury, taking the ball off of his eye, off of the attempted bunt. Guys are going to have to come in and hit. Guys are going to have to pinch hit. Guys are going to have to come in for a game and then not be in a game. Guys are going to have to come in and produce on the fly and on the call. And what I'm seeing over the last 2 weeks is that happening. Here's the only problem I have, Drew, and I'm gonna be a pessimist right now. Does it actually hurt us to win the division? This team is so hot right now. I don't want to stop playing baseball. I want to go right into the wild card. Let's keep playing. Let's keep rolling. If we win the division, you take a couple of days off. We see what happens, and you're never late, brother. You're never late to the show. You're always on time, right in time for our Guardians.
No, I get your sentiments. However, I think when we talk about this team, I think this is a team that is playing incredible baseball, and I think even with the break, we'll still play pretty good baseball, even if they slow down some. But if you kind of look at who they're playing potentially if they win the division, it's either Detroit or Houston. because you're gonna be the lowest division winner in terms of wins. It's almost guaranteed at this point. I think it's already guaranteed. So you're going to play that wild card, that 6 seed wild card. However, like I said, you're going to play Detroit or you're going to play Houston. Detroit's on a full-on collapse right now, and so I'm perfectly okay with continuing to play them because it seems like just the wind in their sails if they realize they have to play us in the series again, not just because of last year, but because of what's happening the past 6 games. They're just not going to have it in them. And Houston is barely hanging on to right now too. And so even if potentially we do slow down a little bit, I think you get that right back when you play either of these teams in the playoffs. And I think it's better because then you have that kind of boost of winning that division. Let's say you go into the wild card, you're like, we were so close, but we still made the wild card. It's not as impactful as this all the way comeback to winning the division. I think that motivation, regardless of taking a couple days off, is going to be more important.
I just want to play October baseball.
And
because a month ago,
looking good.
Because 2 weeks ago, we didn't even talk Guardians on the show because we were just like, I don't know. Okay, they're starting to win some games, and that's great, but it wasn't impactful enough to be on the show technically. And now we're 13 minutes into the show, and I could continue.
Magic number is 3. By the way, if we win tonight, magic number goes down to 1, and your brother may potentially be going to the game tomorrow to potentially see a division clincher. So we will see. Obviously, they're tonight, 6:40. Patrick Messick on the mound today. The kid will be pitching for a potential almost division sealing game. So check that one out today. Obviously, we will keep our eyes on it as at the end of the show, we'll probably be around when the game starts. So.
You go to more games than anybody I know, so I don't think that really
5 minutes away.
Absolutely. Yes, the bullpen does need a rest, so obviously that will help. Because we're gassing these arms out there. And hola to our owner of Schmoopy Sweets and Treats, Paula, and not just that. And I think I'm going to screw the title up, but Paula is also our community director for the Rapids as well. We're kicking butt behind the scenes. Wait till you see what Paula's cooking. I'm just helping and I'm just putting things in place and shuffling some things around for her ideas. But wait till you see what she's cooking. She's like Chef Emerald in there right now. All right, cooking it. All right, yeah. No more baseball. That's fine. Do we play tonight? Are we on tonight? I thought we had a day.
No, not listening to a single word I said.
I thought you said tomorrow night. No, I don't listen.
6:40. Patrick Messick, the kid's on the mound.
I heard all that.
That's tonight.
Yeah. Also, it just proves we talk on the show, but we don't listen to each other.
Looked at the Tigers' potential starter. Still says undecided. So unsure what's going on there. Maybe they'll have an opener today. I really don't know what's going on there. It's possible, but we will see what happens. And obviously, like I said, near the end of the show, that game will start. So we'll keep our eyes on it.
Okay. All right. We ready to do it? Let's do some college football then. It's time for some football, baby. Here are your college football top 25 week 4 results. And actually, I'm pulling it down. Nope, you don't get to look anymore. Before we start there, we have to talk to Drew. You nailed a prediction last week that was beyond spot on, beyond on the money. You heard it here first, Thursday around, it's 5:30 now.
It's probably about this time.
So probably around this time, maybe around 6 o'clock last week on the show. Drew, you broke the news after your talks with boosters down in Oklahoma State that Mike Gundy would be fired. And so we have it. Mike Gundy has been fired by Oklahoma State. Drew, what did those boosters tell you?
Listen, I got my eyes and ears around all of college football. Just call me, the Fabrizio Romano of college football, or I guess the Adam Schefter, if you're not a big
Yeah.
soccer fan, we'll go there. No, listen, was it something that I think a lot of college football fans were probably thinking? I would say yes, because Mike Gundy, been here forever, very in a similar boat to kind of the Nick Sabans or the Dabo Sweeneys, where they are very used to building up programs through recruiting. They want their guys there for 3 to 4 years. And you could tell as soon as kind of this transfer portal stuff started to come in, they started to struggle a little bit. They weren't as good at managing the players that they have while also keeping an eye on the portal. It becomes more of kind of a full-time, full year-round recruiting job now. And obviously, like I said, there's some struggles. And then like we talked about last week, the Oregon absolute demolishing. Listen, you don't get 60, 70 points dropped on you and don't get to hear some shouts for you to lose your job. However, I was still surprised that they pulled the trigger this quickly, because listen, you're in week 3, I guess it was week 4 of college football, and it's very hard to fire a longtime head coach that had a very big release clause in his contract. And so it's one of those ones where we're not surprised when looking at this on the field, but I think as a business aspect of Oklahoma State, it is very surprising. But I think what their mindset is that you get them out now, you bring in someone to potentially kind of just steady the ship, steady the boat. Mm-hmm. And I think you get a better chance of having players stay, knowing the vision going forward, rather than firing them at the end of the year when you already were planning on it and having a mass exit without giving the players some sort of time to establish what's going on.
Pass it back, since we are running long already. I'm going to get through this one quickly. A couple of years ago, Mike Gundy would not be fired yet. They would have waited till later in the season, maybe until it completely fell off, like maybe Florida State's record of last year. And then they would have let him go. They would have seen who got let go, who was available, who they could throw some money at, and they go and get their coach. With the portal, with recruiting the way it is now, nonstop, 24 hours a day, 365, no offseason for recruiting. You got to get them out now, if that's what you're thinking. You've got to get them out now, because if not, every single player worth a damn is leaving Oklahoma State this year. Yeah. And that happens with good programs, with great programs. There's exodus when a coach leaves. It happened at Alabama. A place like Oklahoma State, which is not the higher end of college football, it's not the low end of college football, it's in some of that middle to middle lower tier. Yeah, you gotta make the decision quickly. I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised just because at this point, guys like Mike Gundy usually kind of write their own path out and aren't fired midseason. But hey, I mean, got to keep it rolling. All right.
And and real quick, he has said he does not plan on retiring. And so potentially we still see him in college football at some point. I think he's earned the respect to get a year at some program, but obviously we'll see.
Absolutely. I would say the one thing for me is, if I'm a program and I've been on that lower tier and I need to step up, or if I'm a program that goes, I've got all the resources, but I don't have a guy who can get these guys going. Maybe you take a shot on Mike Gundy. So we'll see. All right. Now, back to our top 25. And bro, wow. We're going to start with our ranked showdowns, bro. Texas Tech 34, Utah 10. This was a very close game as a couple of top QBs went at it this week. But for the Red Raiders, it was backup Will Howard who stepped up and led 4 scoring drives and led them to a win over the Utes. But, bro, for an offense that was rolling for Texas Tech, and we had talked about that last week, it almost looked even better when the backup came in, which is scary. But I want to talk about the defense, bro. It wasn't until 10 minutes and 22 seconds left in the fourth quarter that Texas Tech finally gave up a touchdown. This does not look like, a normal Big 12 defense. Could Texas Tech actually make some noise? Are they? This is going to be the theme this week. Are these teams real? Is Texas Tech real?
So, in terms of if I'm going to divide it into two categories. If we're talking real in terms of Big 12 CFP Big 12 contender CFP entrant, yes. I've been on this Texas Tech team since the beginning. I think their defense is incredible, just up there with Utah's, and I think they have a much better offense. I think Utah was handling it well, and I just think they planned for a quarterback that was starting and then didn't plan for the other one and just got absolutely lit up.
We see that
And
all the time when the backup comes in.
Exactly. And props to him, was able to come in and just run the offense so well. If we're talking about true CFP contender and we're talking about winning multiple games in the CFP, I think that's where you have to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, because I think Utah, while an amazing, amazing defense, I think the offense is very, very lackluster this year. I think they're still trying to get their feet wet in the Big 12. And I think that defense just got really tired. And I think that's where you start to see the snowball at the end, where Texas Tech kind of ran away with it. I like this Texas Tech team. I think they should be favorites to win the Big 12 and be a high seed in the CFP. But I still need to see a full season effort of this team to truly go, okay, this is where I kind of predict you at in the CFP. Because right now, they're kind of looking at me like an Arizona State, where I like them getting in and they're going to play a team tough. But if they get the wrong opponent, I don't think that they have a good shot at really winning or winning a couple games.
I don't know if I fully agree, but I'm mostly on board with that. I'm going to be honest. So, Drew, we're going to talk about Oklahoma and Auburn, but I'm not going to tell you the score. If you know it, you know it. But this is how I'm going to frame this conversation. Drew, if I told you this stat and you knew this pregame, who would you think would win? One of these defenses is going to hold the offense to under 300 yards, have 9 sacks, 8.5 by the defensive line. If you knew that, and I told you it was Oklahoma and Auburn, you would say, oh, man, this SEC defense, it got a hold of Oklahoma, it slowed them down, and it took care of business. But to quote the great Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. Oklahoma 24, Auburn 17. Oklahoma played great defense. John Mateer led them on a decisive touchdown drive, running it out from 7 yards out, leads this Oklahoma team to an amazing win. They're higher up in the rankings this week. Everything, this is it. This is Oklahoma's year. And then we find out Monday morning that John Mateer broke his hand and will be out a month. Is the honeymoon already over after this big victory? Or do you think Oklahoma can hang on until he can get healthy enough to come back and they keep this Sooner train rolling?
So if this game was 38-24, 41-31, something on the higher end on kind of both sides, I would say, man, this is such a devastating loss. Their offense is going to go completely shut out, and how is their defense going to respond? However, holding an Auburn team that actually really did impress me this game to 17 points, absolutely just disrupted that entire offense, I think it's possible. However, they do have an interesting road ahead, because I think John Mateer said he's going to be out about a month. So we'll say 4 games, right? We'll say about 4 games. You got Kent State next. That should be a cakewalk. I don't even think you're going to play your starter more than a quarter. Then you got the Red River rivalry, which is going to be tough. Texas always comes to play. That's going to be a really tough game. You got South Carolina. That kind of depends on who's playing a quarterback, if he's healthy, if Sellers is healthy, but still a good team. I think. But it depends. He's still it's still nagging a little bit. And obviously, if you can hang on that game, that's great. And then probably the game that he's going to miss last or be questionable on is Ole Miss. And so those 2 games, your Texas and Ole Miss, I think majority are going to be the games that you go, okay, defense, you got a quarterback that can get you a couple points, 14, 17, 21. can you come up massive and get you some wins here?
Because if you're Oklahoma now, it's not like you can wish him not hurt. This is what you have to deal with.
Yeah.
You're thanking everything that you don't have a loss right now, that you have that 0. Because right now, and we've seen this with this committee, what they did to Florida State when they didn't have their quarterback. We're not going to rehash this. I don't need you to get all upset on me now because they made the right decision.
No.
If you can manage to go 1-2 in Texas and Ole Miss, you are a lock for the college football playoffs. Yeah. If you lose both, he has to come back and they have got to rip apart the rest of that schedule, get themselves close to the SEC championship game as they possibly can, and then they might be okay. But if they go out there and just get slaughtered in both of those games and he comes back and they struggle, they're not making it.
No, I absolutely agree. But I think I'm more confident because of their defensive showing in these first couple games of the season. Because listen, old Oklahoma, you lose, the Baker Mayfield, the Kyler Murrays, that, where you're done because that defense was giving up 40 points in the Big 12 on a weekly basis. They were just scoring 50. Now you can score 24, 20 points and you can still win games in the SEC, which I think is very, very impressive and could lead to some good things in giving them the benefit of the doubt later on in the season.
I don't know if we talked about the Bucks yet, but did y'all? No.
Saying.
No. That was a different Will Howard.
Well, no, I think that's just a general question. The potential. I would say, the potential is there. I just think we need to give him the time to grow into that role because Will Howard was a 5th-year starter at that point, ready to go in the NFL. This kid's a true freshman.
When I watched him at Kansas State, I liked what Will Howard was, but he didn't have the talent around him, and he even himself would make some bad mistakes.
There was limits.
Sands going to sit in this offense for 3 years. He's going to be all right. Throwing to these wide receivers, he's going to be all right. Pro prospect wise, I'm not sold on Will Howard, so I'm going to be in the difference of opinion here. Everybody else was. So as a pro, I got to see more before I say that. So that's an end of year, next year conversation. But I appreciate Stash for checking in with us as always. Drew, we got one more ranked game to talk about. And it was the least fun one of the night. Indiana 63. Yeah, Indiana 63, Illinois 10. Fernando Mendoza, 5 tutties as the Hoosiers absolutely shell-shocked, knocked out, punched out, whatever adjective you want to use, this Fighting Illini squad from the jump. Now, I don't think this Illini team will just roll over. Okay, we'll get Illinois out of the way right now. I firmly believe that they're going to bounce back and they're going to have a decent season, decent to good season. Bro, however, we even said last week we weren't sure if this Illinois team was good enough for the eye test to really let us judge Indiana. But bro, 63-10 is 63-10. And when it's against a top 10 ranked team in a Power 5 conference, that is something you have got to look at.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And obviously, some people are going to say, it's early in the year, and so maybe the rankings aren't all true, and maybe this Illinois team was vastly overrated. That could be true. However, if you change that Indiana logo to a Buckeye logo, that is the entire college football landscape is saying this Ohio State team is ready for a CFP run. And I think that's kind of something we have to say.
No one in the Big Ten can touch them.
And I think that's what we have. That those things are things we're gonna have to start saying about Indiana, because listen, you hold a team to 161 yards of offense, that's saying something. And listen, this game was close in the first quarter. End of first quarter, both teams had punted 2 or 3 times. Both teams had traded a score. I think Indiana was up a touchdown, but it was still 14-7. And then Indiana just went on a roll. It went punt, Illinois, touchdown, Indiana 3 or 4 times, and they just kept going. And so I think what you have to start talking about Indiana, it's I think something that we have to really bring to the table when we start talking about them. This is a veteran team that isn't, your veteran teams of Wisconsin's or Michigan State's that they were good and now they're staying good and maybe have a level up. This is a team that was pretty good last year and got much better. And so I am excited. I think Indiana really doesn't has a tough road ahead of them. They have Oregon, they have Penn State, and so they are going to be tested.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I don't think that you can look at me and tell me that this Indiana team isn't vying for a Big Ten championship spot, because that is as impressive of a conference win as I've seen all week.
If this conference doesn't have Oregon, I mean, Indiana's right there.
Yeah.
But
even so, I think they're vying for a top 3, depending on, obviously, we'll talk about it, this week's game.
Now, they did it this week, but this is going to be the key when they do play those better teams. That 3-headed monster at running back that I talked about last week, 261 of their 312 yards on the ground came from those 3. That's your key right there for Indiana going forward. All right, Drew, we've got some ones that I said to keep an eye on last week. Let's run through these real quickly. Michigan 30, Nebraska 27. Bro, I said they were close. Or I should say we were so close. And part of me saying that teams are back in the same way that I did with Michigan 2 years ago, Miami last year. I'm going to keep bringing it up. This is a game that is normally not close for Nebraska. This is a game they get run out. Okay. Now, I really need to hammer home the back thing. Okay. This is a performance, and you can tell me I'm wrong. This is a performance as a college football fan that I look and go, ooh, okay, Nebraska. Michigan took a field goal to beat you. Okay. All right. Dylan Raiola, 308, 3 tutties, and a pick. But he definitely did not get outdueled. He absolutely outplayed Bryce Underwood. They had one play that worked. And it was Bryce Underwood handing the ball off and then running one himself. 149 yards, 1 touchdown, and a 75-yard run for Justice Haynes. 80 yards, a touchdown, and a 54-yard touchdown run for Jordan Marshall. Bryce Underwood, a 61-yard touchdown. 61 yards and a 37-yard touchdown. It was 3 big runs that beat Nebraska. Tell me I'm wrong, or let's keep it moving.
No. So, do I think this was a game from Nebraska that vaulted them higher than they've been in the past couple years? Yes. Do I think that this performance was enough to truly tell me that Nebraska is a program to be thought about again? I don't think so. And I think this is why. Because this is exactly every time we talk about playing Michigan, this is exactly what I say. You need to have a professional performance to beat Michigan. And I think that's where Nebraska stumbled. In turn, that's where Oklahoma succeeded. Because if you look at Oklahoma, they ran the ball well, they threw the ball well, they played good defense. They played Michigan how you need to play Michigan to beat them. Nebraska didn't play Michigan how they needed to play them to beat them. 43 yards on the ground is not going to cut it against Michigan. Your first drive ending in a turnover on downs is not going to beat Michigan. Being down 10 with 3 minutes to go and having to try to get is not good enough to beat Michigan. That's where I think the Nebraska needs a little bit more development to truly get into that, because they played like the lower team and they got beat because Michigan can play here at all times. And when you try to get up here and you're wavering, they're going to still be here. And I think that's kind of where Nebraska still needs some maturity in that development of their program. And so, great performance, great effort, still needs some time.
Speaking of maturity, I love you, Dash. And I know I'm not wrong, Dad, for the record. I know I'm not wrong.
Maybe you was thinking Sash
because I'm not wrong. No. All right, yeah, that's possible. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, yeah, here we go. And the last one. Missouri 29, South Carolina 20. They hung on, bro. We had that theme this week. Texas Tech and Missouri, two teams that are quality teams year in, year out, but they fail on that big stage. You got to grind out some wins in the SEC, and when Lenora Sellers is going for 302 touchdowns on you, you better have an answer. And what was the answers for the Tigers? That ground game. 285 on the ground, 138 from Ahmad Hardy, as the Missouri Tigers are quietly making a run in the SEC. We were talking about Michigan. Shout out to my guy Mark Meyer. Go Blue. Everybody stay tuned. He's a new viewer. I got that thing coming up here soon, but let's keep it rolling. So Missouri 29, South Carolina 20. Missouri does it. My Tigers are sneaky.
No, it was a performance that was kind of shaky, but then they stepped up. Listen, you hold any team to 11 yards in the fourth quarter, you're gonna get a pat on the back from me. South Carolina, obviously a tricky team, so great just to get the win. However, when they start to get into the meat of their schedule, they start playing Alabama and Auburn and Vandy and A&M and Oklahoma and all that. It's the tough SEC schedule. That's where I'm more concerned for them. But great win, still undefeated, great defensive performance, especially in the fourth quarter. We will see what happens later on in the season, but props to them so far.
We're riding those Tigers right now. Maybe not the money lines, but we're riding those Tigers. That pretty much does it for the big games. As you see the rest of the top 25, we have some teams idle. LSU won. Miami did take care of Florida 26-7. Oregon big. Florida State big over Kent State. Texas big over Sam Houston. We talked, Ole Miss over Tulane. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm getting there. I'm rolling through. Tennessee.
You won a game.
Tennessee big over UAB. I hate you. Georgia Tech big winners over Temple over there on the CW. Vanderbilt big winners. Vanderbilt 70 points. Period. That's the story right there. We talked about Michigan and Auburn and Missouri, and yes, my Notre Dame Fighting Irish finally decided to kind of play some defense, although we still gave up 30 bleeping points to Purdue. But 56-30 gets the job done. We'll see what happens. USC, big winner, or not big winners, but winners there over Michigan State, 45-31. Shout out to Michigan State, 31 points. I didn't talk about it because I didn't want to mention it, but I will bring it down. You're a jerk. You won our Straub Bros Pick'em contest last week. Me trying to ride with that Nebraska team and Illinois cost me big time there. That's what I get for being a homer. We're going to have some real fun this week, and I'm going to put me and Drew on an awkward spot. We're going to pick the Premier League this week.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So now that we got the top 25 out of the way, Drew, I'm throwing it to you. It's time for Drew's quarterback watch. Drew, I guess the question is, did it cost Matthias Heisman, this injury?
I would probably say yes, unless he starts. Because if I'm being honest, he was good.
Miss a month,
but yeah, you can't miss a month. But we'll talk about it here. I, for some reason, just didn't put Fernando Mendoza in this list, and I wanted to shout him out now, 20 for 23, 267, and 5 tutties in a top 25 performance. Didn't put him in there, so I'm going to mention him now. But all these guys absolutely phenomenal. Chandler Morris from Virginia, 380 yards and 4 tutties, leading the week in passing yards. Absolutely fantastic there. Josh Hoover from TCU, 379 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. Did have that interception, and they did end up losing the game, but a good performance. Speaking of a great performance and a loss, Cade Klubnik from Clemson, 37 out of 60 passes. I just want to put that out there. He threw the ball 60 times.
In a what? What did Clemson do?
Loss.
Oh, okay.
Did throw 3 touchdowns. I just think that they are relying on him way too much. Great performance, but I think that's more on the offensive coordinator in Dabo than Cade. I think he's doing the best he can out there.
You better set this one up right. Go ahead.
I was going to say Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss.
No, you just say Trinidad. I say James. Okay, that's how this works. Come on.
He may have gold everything. But 307 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 112 rushing yards. Great performance there. And we talked about it in dropping 70. Diego Pavia, a big part of that, 245 passing yards and a passing touchdown, 86 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Kid's killing it there. Absolutely electric to watch a school like Vandy just light up the scoreboard. So got to add him in there. Absolutely fantastic.
There's your pro right there. I'm just putting it out there. All right. That's it for Drew's quarterback watch, which means it's time to count our money. How did we do this weekend? And Drew, we did pretty damn good. We nailed 5 of our locks. We only hit 2 upsets, but we still got to 2, and they were 2 of the biggest ones. So the one we did miss, Arkansas minus 7.5 over Memphis. What the hell, Arkansas? But
Dude.
We nailed the rest.
What a game.
We absolutely knocked it out of the park. Ole Miss, Michigan, Nebraska, Louisiana, Eastern Michigan, South Carolina, and Missouri, and BYU too. And then shout out to Maryland for taking out Wisconsin and Syracuse for taking down Clemson, which gets us to your top 25 of the current week. Your Ohio State Buckeyes stay strong at number 1. I do want to point out not all of the first place votes, a couple trickling down to Miami and Penn State, and 2 separate voters. One has Oregon as their number 1 team. The other has Oklahoma as their number 1 team. Man, we should get votes if that's the case, but that's nonetheless. We've got some, as I always talk about, some sneaky matchups to look at this week. We'll run through those real quick. Here's the first one, and here's the first team on upset alert this week. Number 22, Notre Dame at Arkansas. Yep, I'm putting my own team on upset alert. Flat out, absolutely in trouble. We only have recent success against the SEC. A&M and Georgia last year. Not the same team, not the same defense. This could possibly be a struggle. If this defense is what I've seen for the past 3 weeks, which at this point, why would I think it would be anything different after I've watched it for 3 straight weeks against 2 top quality opponents and still giving up 30 to Purdue? I have a hard time believing they're going to slow down this Arkansas offense at home, and that's very, very scary for a freshman on the road in the SEC for the first time. Well, for the first time like that.
The only thing that you make great points. I want to say you make great points, and I think, however, you are coming from a fan base perspective, and so I think that makes you a little bit more nervous. Listen, man, this team just gave up 32 to Memphis. And listen, I know that Arkansas was kind of controlling that game, but they also only scored 3 points the whole second half. While I understand that you are a little nervous about this game, I think this Arkansas team just doesn't have what it takes to play a complete game. You may struggle early on, but I think at some point you're going to come around and be fine. Also, the more time you give Marcus Freeman to work with this team, the better they're going to look. I don't see a place where you lose this game. I think you're going to win it. But I understand your concern, especially from watching the first 3 games.
We better pack touchdown Jesus in the bus. That's all I'm going to say. Another one, Auburn.
We got a lot of Jesus down in Arkansas. You're fine.
Okay. Auburn at number 9, Texas A&M, an SEC matchup. One team's flying high. Another team just got knocked off its run. You can't tell me this isn't a bit interesting. No, Drew?
No, I think it absolutely is, because I think this is the game that Texas A&M always loses. I think the only time they've won games like this when Johnny Manziel was their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, it's another test from Texas A&M. Are you legit this time this year, or are you going to lose to another mid to high SEC team that is just going to put you on your back? I think that's the biggest question here. Do I think Texas A&M has it in them? Absolutely. But can I see a Texas A&M team that barely beat Notre Dame and still gave up 22 and 24 to non-ranked group of 5 teams, absolutely blowing it against a pretty decent Auburn team? Absolutely.
I agree. I just Texas A&M, justify your number 9 ranking. That's what your goal is this week. Another one, the same exact type of thing. In number 11, Indiana at Iowa. Can this Indiana team avoid these trap games against a good Iowa defense, as it always is? They can't score. Can they prove that they're the next big dog in the Big Ten when you get past Ohio State and when you get past Oregon? Any chance Iowa trips them up here?
Maybe. I think the obviously, like you said, this Indiana defense is good. I'm not gonna discredit them there. However, they did give up 38 or 28 points to Rutgers last week in a win. I'll give it in a win. But I think this Indiana team, I think, is too well coached and too well disciplined to really kind of fall into this trap game. The only issue maybe is they're looking ahead to Oregon next week, but I think that they take care of business regardless here. This Iowa team is just very, very lackluster as they have in the past couple of years. And so I think it's just this Indiana team is too much on both sides of the ball to really play down to Iowa, especially because how well they're coached.
I just don't want to hear it when it's like 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. Okay. I just don't want to hear it. And lastly, because everybody knows how much I love this team, Arizona at number 14, Iowa State. My boys, my Wildcats are back prime, ready for another upset, Drew. The Cyclones always trip. Okay, they're just like Texas Tech and they're just like Missouri. They always trip up. They never finish the season. I got them right. This is it. Arizona, nail it, hammer it.
It's not the worst take in the world. Both teams beat Kansas State by a score. So very, very, close things. The only issue I have with Arizona is that the way that Pac-12 teams play, and obviously I think Utah was the one exception. I think most Pac-12 teams play this way. Very open. It's Big 12, but it's on steroids, where it's very free-flowing. It's very much kind of what the defense is giving you, and you play that way. Iowa State kind of plays the antithesis of this. And what I mean by that is this defense very much shows you what you want to see and pounces on you when you try to play that way. And so Iowa State, I think, is going to struggle offensively just because I think this Arizona defense is underrated. But I think that this Arizona offense is also going to struggle. And I think this Iowa State defense is going to come up with a lot of big plays that either sets up their offense well or even scores points when the offense can't. And so I think that's where Iowa State comes ahead. I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams are very similar in terms of skill and in terms of just, prestige. But I think that Iowa State defense comes along. And I know you're going to disagree with me. But however, I have been right when it comes to going against Ken's homer picks. And so I'm going to stick with Iowa State on this one.
Arizona by 50. Done.
If that happens, I will chug an energy drink on the show next week and have to deal with the consequences afterwards.
Got you beat. All right.
That was like a sip and a half.
It probably was. I think it was like a quarter left. Before I get to Straub Bros Big Saturday, our big ranked matchups, I'm going to tease this. So if you're with us right now, please stick around. I have the most important Straub Bros Sports Show promo advertisement that we have ever had in the history of this show. And I'm going to do it at the end of the college football segment. So stick around for this. Right after Big Bros, Big Bets, I'm going to put that in because I won't be able to get through all of this stuff if I start and I do all of that now. So without further ado, it's time for Big Straub Bros Big Saturday. And Drew, I don't have Tennessee up there again. I got the right games this time. We start at noon on Fox. Number 21, USC at number 23, Illinois. Drew, this one is short and sweet. USC can score points in bunches. Illinois just had 63 points put on them. Is there any chance this game is even close?
I think it's close. I think, if we're being honest, I think it's similar to the USC-Michigan State game last week, and I think that's the way it's going to go. And I think it's the same reasoning I gave then. If this is a game in November, I'm giving the edge to Illinois probably, but it is in September. It's still going to be decently warm.
And it's in California.
It's in Illinois this time.
Sorry, I got them switched on the thing. My bad.
But this USC team is flying. I think that Illinois is just a little going to be beat down after that. I think you can't lose 63-10 and then go back and try to play your best against a ranked opponent. USC, I think, wins. It's not a blowout, but I think I said it's a comfortable win, similar to kind of how they beat Michigan State last week. And it's a positive step for Illinois, but I think it still shows that, yeah, I think maybe we thought we were better than we were this year.
I agree with you. I told you, and I said it, Illinois is going to bounce back. They're going to have a good season. They're going to have a decent season. It starts this week with a good performance against a great USC offense. I still think USC is going to hang 40-something on them, but I think Illinois will score some points and at least make it respectable. Saturday at 3:30, we got two big SEC matchups this weekend. Here's the first one. Number 4, LSU at number 13, Ole Miss. Drew, the Brian Kelly choke watch, it continues. We keep saying he's going to do it. He's going to trip up. He's going to have a loss. He got us last week or 2 weeks ago. Do we got him this week, bro? Does Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss trip up this LSU title run?
Oh, the only, and this is, I, as you know, I'm very serious about my takes and I'm very serious about who I pick. There was a story in the news this week. There was a report that Lane Kiffin's daughter had started a relationship with an LSU player, and in a tweet was asked Lane Kiffin, what do you think about this? And his response, take the over.
I love it.
That combined with Brian Kelly's just absolute abysmal performances in these type of games, especially on the road. I love Ole Miss. I think that Lane Kiffin is going to come out with a point to prove. I think they're not going to be the Ole Miss that gets a lead and then kind of lets it slip. I think he's going to try to hammer it because I really don't think he likes Brian Kelly that much. And so I think Lane Kiffin is going to come out fast, strong. They're going to have the stadium behind them. I think that this is going to go Ole Miss's way for once. And I think the LSU hate watch is going to finally pay dividends. And I think we're going to be able to say what Nate says every time we mention LSU and Brian Kelly. And I think it's going to be good for Ole Miss this week.
Drop one in the chat for us. Yeah, there it is. I was going to say, drop one in the chat for us, Nady, since we don't talk like that. Listen, come on, Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss, let's go. There's absolutely no way I'm going any other way there. All right, we get to Saturday night. Excuse me. We get to Saturday night, and we've got two heavyweight ranked matchups. First, over on NBC, number 6, Oregon at number 3, Penn State. Drew, full screen time. Here we go. Drew, it's Penn State in a ranked game at night, at home. Drew, if they win, Penn State's for real, right?
Yes. If they win, Penn State is for real.
Whoa.
Well, no, we talked about this. If they win, Penn State's for real. However, they're not going to win. And you know what? Because for years now, on this podcast, I have said, Penn State, show something to me. Penn State, come on, give it to me. And every single time, because of my better judgment, I never say that they're going to win, and I am always right. And again, I'm going to say it. I'm sorry. When the best team you have faced this year is Villanova, you do not give any confidence. Oregon State just dropped 60 and made a team fire their head coach in the 3rd week of the season. I don't care that you're at home. I don't care that Happy Valley is one of the best and most aggressive home environments. I don't care. You cannot win big games with this team. You have never won big games with this team with that man as your head coach. I don't care. Oregon, I will put my entire salary on you because I will never trust Penn State until they prove me wrong. And Ken, since we have done this podcast, they have never proven me wrong. Thank you.
Tell us about it. Hey, listen, I'm not saying anything else after that. They just if they're gonna do it, everything he just said. I'm not saying anything after that rant. There's nothing else for me to say. We'll just shift over to the other box quietly. The Saturday night showdown in the SEC, number 17 Alabama at number 6 Georgia. Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Oos gave you a shout out. That was well said. I don't think this is a big game. I don't think Alabama has a chance in heck to even be close in this game. I'm going to be honest with you, because here's what I know. I know Kirby Smart and them boys down there in Georgia are coming hungry, and they're going to score some points. I don't know what Alabama I'm getting.
Unfortunately, in my heart of hearts, I think you're right. Because
but for the sake of the
team, yeah, right. Well, this Alabama team had a great win against Wisconsin, and Wisconsin just dropped a dookie against Maryland last week, which was we were very excited in the Straub Cleveland apartment when I saw that score pop up. So you can't even give that win to Alabama because Wisconsin just doesn't look good at all. However, I think because of the nature of this game and because of how this game has played out, even after Nick Saban has left, I think this is a close game. Do I think Georgia still wins? Yes, I think they still come out victorious. However, I think Alabama can do enough to keep this game from being embarrassing. Do I still think that you're going to hear calls to fire DeBoer's head, fire DeBoer out of Alabama? Absolutely. However, I don't think this is one that you have to shut off at halftime or halfway through the third quarter.
I said Arizona by 50 earlier, Dogs by 60.
I could also say, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but I truly think this is going to be a close game.
All right. No, I agree. I do believe it actually is going to be a close game. We do have majority of your top 25 in action this week. Ohio State at Washington, a little sneaky game there. 3-point game for sure. I like it. We talked about our top games. We have Florida State on Friday versus Virginia. That's not your only Friday game. TCU at Arizona State, which is a sneaky matchup there. That is also Friday. Run through the rest. Indiana is at Indiana, apparently. Not sure what I did there.
They're at Iowa.
Yeah, but we talked about that. Tennessee, Mississippi State, Georgia Tech at Wake Forest on the CW after Charmed and before Supernatural. Vanderbilt versus Utah State, Missouri versus UMass. We talked about USC and Illinois. Talked about Notre Dame and Arkansas. And BYU down there at the bottom. A little sneaky matchup there with Coach Prime and Colorado. Yes, it is a sneaky matchup. Yes, it is.
I will never listen. I was on the Colorado train last year.
Just move on.
You can't lose 36-20 to Houston and call it a sneaky matchup.
Move on. Sneaky matchup. All right. It's time for Big Bros, Big Bets. Here are your week 4 top 25 spreads and your Ken Chef specials. Your top 25, your Florida State 6.5-point favorites. TCU, I had to put this in there. They are underdogs against Arizona State. Okay, so if you think this TCU team is good, that defense is really good. But there, you see the rest: Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, Indiana, Texas A&M. Ohio State, only 8.5-point favorites against Washington. Something sneaky there. We're going to talk about that. Missouri, -44. BYU, only 6.5-point favorites against Colorado. But Ken Chef specials: Ohio, 9.5 against Bowling Green. Louisville, 4.5 against Pitt. Kansas, 5.5-point favorites against Cincinnati. Drews, alma mater. More on that on the next graphic. Duke, 5.5-point favorites against Syracuse. Central Michigan, 6.5 against Eastern Michigan. UConn, 4.5 against Buffalo. More on that later. Baylor, minus 20.5 to Oklahoma State. Does Oklahoma State get the new coach rebound? Not so sure. Navy and Rice. Air Force, Hawaii. Air Force, 6.5 favorites against my always favorite to bet on Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Tulane, 14.5-point favorites to Tulsa, and Memphis is there as well. Drew, it's time for it. We're on fire. We are in fuego. It is time for big bros, big bets. And here are your locks. We are 16-8 on the season in our locks. We are 500. We are rolling. Give me South Carolina minus 5.5 versus Kentucky. Louisiana, welcome back to locks. 2 weeks in a row. Give me the over on the Louisiana versus Marshall. And then here we go. I got some big ones. Georgia, give me the 2.5 versus Alabama. I'm so sorry, Grandpa. Utah minus 12.5 versus West Virginia. I think Utah bounces back big. Making their first ever debut into any betting football segment in the history of our show. UConn Huskies, welcome in. Give me that 4 and a hook against Buffalo. And I don't normally bet with them, but give me Ohio State 8.5 against Washington. Cuzzo adamantly disagrees with me. Ohio State going to take a loss. Those are my locks. Any quick thoughts on my locks before we hit our upsets?
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing UConn in any graphic that we have.
Yes.
That's not basketball related.
Absolutely.
I think they've been playing well too, so I like that lock as well. I like Utah. I have that Ohio State one is tricky, man.
I know.
I know it's Washington, but they're starting off insanely hot. But if that defense can be as good as it's been the past couple of weeks, I think that's a good bet. And so those are the ones I think I'm really tuning in for.
I'm happy with the first 5. If Ohio State is as good as you all tell me they are, I'll take them by 2 touchdowns. I'll take them by at least 10. Now, last week we had 6 upsets picked, and I gave you 6 teams. Well, I've picked 8 upsets on the year, so I give you 8 teams this week. I give you a smorgasbord. I got a lot of good stuff. I also think and believe in a lot of these. So
we're gonna end the whole season with you just doing the whole upset. We're going back.
Number 24 TCU plus 126. Arkansas plus 146 over my Irish. Your Cincinnati Bearcats plus 162 over Kansas. Syracuse plus 172. Don't remember who they're playing. Auburn plus 188 in their matchup. Arizona plus 188 as well against who was Arizona? It was Arizona and one second.
I believe in you.
I lost it.
Iowa State.
Yep. Thank you very much, sir. Hawaii plus 188. You know I love me some Hawaii. And Oregon State plus 400 over over Houston. I like that. I like it.
You know what? I'm gonna use this time because you mentioned me to talk about my team because we never do anymore on this podcast. I don't know.
Kansas isn't good.
No, their quarterback is. The rest of the team is not. Obviously, seeing how this Nebraska team has been playing and us probably should have beat them is a good sign. However, especially Scott Satterfield era, we have a tendency to lose games we shouldn't lose, and I feel like this might be one of them. And so obviously we will see kind of what happens there, especially because we're away. But I have faith. I think this defense is great. As long as you slow down Jalen Daniels, you should be fine. But that's, I think, the big key there. And so we'll see. I'm not hopeful, but I'm optimistic.
I love it. Oh yeah, every week we have that feeling, no matter who we play. All right, so that does it for college football segment. But I'm not done with college football because I'm going to use college football and use our platform to tell a bigger story. Everyone who loves college football and loves how much I talk about the tradition of college football, gold helmets and mace pants and touching the rock and hitting the play like a champion today sign. But me and Drew have always said, hands down, the 100% best tradition in college football is the Iowa Wave. If you're not familiar with the Iowa Wave, in between, there is a children's pediatric hospital built right on the other side of the stadium. And at the end of the first quarter, everyone in the stadium turns towards the hospital and they wave to the children up in the hospital. The children wave back. They make signs. It's just an amazing tradition. Well, this week, Rutgers did something very amazing. They sent, I do believe it was drones in the form of a hand and did the wave from Rutgers all the way to the Children's Hospital in Iowa. September, if you did not know that, is Children's Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. Sometimes when you watch a video, the comments, something tells you to click on the comments. And when I clicked on that Rutgers video comments, there was a comment that literally grabbed me from my phone. And that was the person that you've seen comment very early in the show, Mark Meyer. Mark told a story. Yes, go blue. And they're also big Tigers fans as well. So we apologize for all our Guardians gears today. Mark and his wife, Lynn, have a daughter, Annika. She was diagnosed with a medulloblastoma. That is a brain tumor. They fought it as aggressively as they could. But in Mark's update, he shared that, unfortunately, there is no longer anything that they can do. And they are going to just continue to fight and live life and enjoy the time that they have with their daughter. I made a comment to Mark because I saw his comment and that I told him that I, with my little blue check mark and our little band of show here, would do everything that I could to get that story out there. And he directed me to Ani's Army. It's, if you go to anisarmy.org, it's Ani's Army Foundation. It is a foundation and a charity that helps families going through the same exact type of things be able to afford life, to be able to help with medical bills and stuff like that. So I'm going to be sharing a link on Facebook, and I'm going to get the word out. I'm going to share the page. I'm going to share this. But if you have a couple seconds, just anisarmy.org, go in, read her story, share in the updates, make a donation if you can. This one grabbed me, guys. And as a dad, to see the strength that Mark has to fight with his daughter and to be as positive as he is and to use that platform to fight and help others. Those are the true heroes. And those are the people that I want to use this platform to shine a light on. So keep them in your thoughts, in your prayers, or however you do that type of thing. And take a second to look. Like I said, I'll share the link, but give it a look through. They're up in Michigan, but that doesn't mean that their brothers down here in Ohio can't come together and help out as well.
Hey, listen, I think that's an amazing sentiment there. I wasn't aware, so I'm glad you brought this up. No, listen, going through something like that is unimaginable. And so giving as much support as we can and kind of just showing that, no matter how far apart we are, in terms of time and distance, that we can all just be one, unit and one family. And so shout out to you, Mark. Shout out to your family, and shout out to everyone kind of going through something like this. And to everyone kind of watching, just, I
love these hearts in the chat.
Spread love. That's the only thing that we can give that's free. And I think that's it's a real big thing that we can do as a community, as a society. And so I appreciate you bringing this up. And yeah, absolutely.
100%. And yes, thank you, Pops. And Mark, we do a thing on this show at the end of every episode. I always say love yours, because that song by J. Cole means a lot to me and my brother. But the gist of the song is to love yours, because it could always, there's always somebody going through something. So that's big. We love ours, but we wanted to be able to share your story. Like I said, I told Mark in a message, probably one of the strongest human beings I've ever had a conversation with, to see how positive and to see how upbeat and to see how strong they are. So much love to them and their family. Like I said, we will get all of that out there. Look for it, because I'm going to be getting some stuff here, doing some stuff on the show. We are going to take a 20-second break and reset, and then we are going to come back and we are going to hit some NFL news big time.
Hey, Ken's got fire and a wild hot take. Hey, Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Hey, laughing loud when your team goes down. Hey, Straub boys run this sports town.
Dang. All right. I needed to reset myself there. All right, Drew. We got done with the college football. It's time to talk NFL. And I know you got a graphic ready. And because I screwed up my notes, there's no way for me to follow along and screw this up anyways. So you got me. I have no choice but to follow your order. So
Yes.
We kicked it off Thursday night with a 31-21 win for the Bills. Drew, I absolutely I kind of messed this one up a bit, because I really, really, truly thought that Buffalo would really, really run away with this. But we got to give some respect to the Dolphins, because they kind of came to play.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think they impressed me a little bit, because honestly, the way they started the season against the Colts, which obviously the Colts have played tremendous football, but the way they played against the Colts week 1 made it feel like this was just going to be an absolute just bloodbath. But they held their own. Obviously, the Bills, I think, look like one of the best teams in the NFL so far, so cannot blame them there. But I think regardless, I think it's another win for Buffalo, and I think it's another game that Miami can look at and kind of go, yeah, we're not at that level that we need to be, and something needs to kind of be shaken up there.
Absolutely. I am going to let you run through the scores. I'm having a technical issue, and I technically need to refresh the page. So I'm going to back out, let you run through the scores. I'll be back in just a second.
All right. I will take this here. Yeah. So obviously we see that 48-10 Minnesota over Bengals. Jake Browning just not the answer so far here.
I'm gonna listen to your advice and ignore it. So yeah, go ahead. Vikings big. I'm taking you over. I'm pushing you out the way. Jags over the Texans.
Didn't get a single segment to myself. That's fine.
Hell no. Colts big over the Titans. Is it time to believe in Danny Dimes? Fill out your apology sheet now. Washington, Marcus Mariota, baby. 41-24 winners over the Raiders. The Eagles continued to win in just ugly fashion, although this one wasn't so bad. 33-26. The Panthers drop a 30-burger in a shutout over the Falcons. Were we wrong about Michael Penix and the Falcons?
Wrong about Michael Penix, no. Wrong about the Falcons actually having a competent team this year. Yes, absolutely. I think that just he's getting set up to fail, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Shout out to the Panthers, though. The Steelers, 21-14 victors over the Patriots in a loser leaves town match, because now the loser is 1-3, and it's starting to get very difficult to climb out of that hole. The Brownies, 13-10 winners over the Green Bay Packers.
Put this down here.
I'll put his comment up, because he did ask if Tua wasn't a bum, but he is running from the chat now, our resident Packers fan. Drew, the upset of the weekend belonged to you. It's all you, brother.
Listen, I've had enough heart palpitations this week. with the Guardians inning that put them ahead 2 days ago. And then, this game. The issue is, and I think some Browns feel my sentiment, and some Browns are going back into the absolute delusion that a lot of us get into. This game, I don't think means anything in terms of the long term. I think this, again, shows that this offense is completely anemic and cannot really compete at this level right now. However, this does show,
how about that D? Pause.
This does show two things. One, our defense will win us some games this year. And two, because Nate's being a crybaby about it, this shows that the Packers are a completely overrated team, considering the smallest of pushbacks on the defensive side is going to make your offense completely collapse. I'm sorry. Only having 10 points to this Browns team, I think, is not something that you can really be proud of yourself in. And also, this shows a real problem that the Packers have, and that is that your offensive line is really, really struggling here. The fact, and there's a picture of it, it's been everywhere, the fact that you have to have 3 guys in a formation to block Myles Garrett to make sure that your quarterback has time to throw. Listen, Myles Garrett is one of the best, if not the best, defensive players in all of football. Yes, I have never seen an offensive line put 3 guys on a dude in a stacked formation because they're having so much trouble blocking. Change up the scheme. Make them grow out of the pocket the other way. Make them throw the ball quicker. Throw screens. Do something. I think this showed a massive weakness in the offensive game plan of the Packers. And I think it's less of importance that the Browns won, or it's less impressive the Browns won, and more really concerning that the Packers lost this game the way they did. And I think that's how, even as a Browns fan, that's how I see how this game went.
So here's my problem, and I attempted to put your graphic up. It says on my screen it's up, but it's not up. There we go.
Here we go.
You gave up 13 points. You give up 13 points in an NFL game, you should win. And here, you got to go full screen. Your defensive line can't. He's got to get it out, okay?
You're a top 5 pick this year, Nate. You're a Super Bowl contender. What are you talking about?
Here's my hot take. Jordan Love is Dak Prescott, but he plays for a team that people like. Okay? How long
it's not the worst take in the world.
How long does this dude get to no-show against good defenses before he starts to get the same hate that Dak gets for doing the exact same thing? You know who Jordan Love beat in the playoffs? Us. Congratulations, Dak. You beat the other one. I'm sorry. And I don't say that in the negative connotation that everybody also says it, because Dak is my quarterback. But what is the difference? These guys tear up mid to not good defenses, and when the game is on the line, Jordan Love no-shows, and when the game is on the line, Jordan Love throws interceptions, and when the game is on the line, copy and paste Dak Prescott's name, and he does the exact same shit.
I don't think it's a bad take, and I think mostly because if you look at the Packers' division record last year, you lost to Chicago, you lost to Minnesota twice, you lost to Detroit twice. So it's not the worst take in the world. I think Jordan Love, I think he has a little bit better of escapability, and I think he's better at kind of getting out of situations that maybe Dak struggles to get out of. But listen, if we're being completely honest, it's not a bad take. You had an amazing running back last year. You had pretty decent wide receivers and a defense that was pretty much carrying you through the season. And you really, you don't show up against good teams. And so, listen, we'll catch you
half the show, Morgan. You're gonna have to GM. You're gonna have to do some scouting, and you're gonna have to rewind the tape and run that back.
to kind of catch you up on this segment, Packers might be a little overrated.
Yeah, listen,
Jordan Love. Overrated.
Listen, there was a very funny joke, and I'm not going to get into the second half of the joke because this bald white man is not about to make the full joke. But hearing people call Kirk Cousins the black Dak Prescott or Dak Prescott the white Kirk Cousins was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life or heard in my life. They're the same dude. They're the same person. Kirk, Dak, Jordan. They're the same person. I don't care what you say. They play quarterback the exact same way. All right, we got some other results. Some shit I'm trying to avoid. Baker touchdown maker. Buccaneers 29-27 win over the Jets. Buccaneers just keep on rolling. Then we get to those 4:00 Sunday games. Chargers 23-20 winners over the struggling up and down Broncos. The Seahawks 44-13 over the very, very bad New Orleans Saints. But the Seahawks sneaky good right now. San Francisco 16-15 over Arizona.
Hold on. We forgot to mention
Caleb Williams coming out party. Bears 31,
for 1 week.
Cowboys 14. This sums up the Cowboys game. So I coached two soccer teams on Sunday mornings. I got 2 teams. Shout out to my U9 or to my I9 teams. They're both a bunch of ballers. I get home, I'm exhausted. I fell asleep during the 1 o'clock window, and I wake up at the 4 o'clock window. I'm getting hit up online. So I come back, I turn all my TVs on back here to watch sports and game and get in my mode. And I look over at the screen and the Cowboys game is on. And the first thing that they showed me was that the Cowboys had 81 rushing yards or 61 rushing yards, and the Bears had -4 or -3. And I'm like, oh, dude, got to be like 14-7, 14-3. It was 14-7 Bears. And then Caleb Williams proceeded to just throw the ball wherever the hell he wanted, all over this atrocious, even with Michael Parsons, Cowboys defense that is just so damn bad. I told y'all in the preseason that I wasn't excited for this Cowboys season and that I wasn't excited for this Cowboys team. I just thought we were going to at least score some damn points in these losses. We suck. I don't care. That's all.
And the issue is it wasn't Micah that you're missing. Your secondary just looks atrocious.
We suck. Period. End of story. Moving on. Sunday night, Chiefs over the Giants, 22-9, except for all our parlays.
Fest.
Yeah, and so were our parlays. And then we had a barn burner on Monday night. Lions 38, Ravens 30. Drew, here is the most important question of the NFL week. Normally, with these Ravens, they win these regular season games. They win against these bigger teams, and then they choke them away in the playoffs. We've seen them show out in the regular season before. This isn't good. They can score a lot of points, but they can't stop anybody.
They can't stop anybody, and you are losing critical downs because your 2 of your 1-2 punch has fumbled the ball in key situations in every game they've played so far. And I think
about Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick. I think it'll change. I think Derrick Henry will figure it out. I think that either they'll put him in better scenarios or he'll just figure out how to hold the ball as we go into the ground and not get it punched out. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's concerning because I think this Ravens team always plays close games, and I think they just been on the winning side on some of them in the regular season. I just think that they're getting a tad unlucky with everything. I think the Bills look like world beaters right now. Detroit, I think, had one bad game against the Packers, and we all threw our hands up and went, "Oh, this isn't the same Lions." They're still a good team. So I don't think this Ravens team is bad or is going to be worse than they were last year. I think they've just had some bad luck, and I think we're pooping on them because of it. I think they're going to be just fine. I think they're still going to win the division. I think that there's no one else in the AFC North that really is
I didn't think
worth
about that for a
anything
second.
right now. And so no, I think the Ravens will be just fine. I think that I'm enjoying it, but I think we're also overvaluing how much they're losing right now.
The sneaky good Lions team. The problem is they continue to lose guys on defense. But the guys that they have are good, really, really good. So we'll see. I was impressed with the way the Lions move the ball. That is for sure. Jared Goff. Woo, baby. All right. So we slide into this week. Oh, here, real quick. I'm sorry. My bad. Now I'm frozen. Before we get to that, I do want to remind everyone, because we did, have some stuff. My stuff's all frozen. Here we go. There we go. Technical difficulties out of the way. That was our parlay from last week. It do not do very good. We are still 18-7 against the money line. Okay. Big Bros, Big Bets continues to make more money than it loses. Way more. However, no, we did not hit the monster parlay. Thank you, Packers. Thank you, Falcons. Thank you, Cowboys. Thank you, Ravens. I don't even want to talk about that. All right, let's get into this week. We start tonight. Seahawks at Cardinals. Nate, Ray, if you can hear me, let's get those parlays started. Let's get cooking, baby. Seahawks and Cardinals. Then we get, thoughts on that? This should be a good game tonight.
I think this will show if
we can believe
Seattle is. Yeah, I would say Seattle's worth anything because this is 100% a trap game that Kyler Murray could throw for 300 yards here and then sink them. So we'll see. Yeah,
I agree, and I also agree with this point from Nate, big time. This is some of the worst. This is some Ray's looking at parlays. Some of the worst defenses in a while in the NFL.
Honestly, I think the offenses are just that good this year. I don't think it's the defense's fault because you see a team like Cleveland that is stopping every rushing attack. I think the passers have figured out whatever the defense was throwing at them last year, and I think the defense just need a year to adjust whatever they're now throwing at them.
I like it. Your Sunday 1:00 slate: Vikings at Steelers. Ooh, profit boost. We've got Washington at Falcons. We've got Chargers at Giants, Titans at Texans, Eagles and Buccaneers. That's a sneaky good one.
That'll be a good game.
Panthers in New England, the Saints at Buffalo, Cleveland versus Detroit. See if this Cleveland offense can try to slow down that Detroit offense.
Just to, I want to put a quick fact there. The Browns have not won in Detroit since 1982. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, wow. And I remember current Rams quarterback, Drew. Come on, Drew, help me here. Former Lions quarterback, Matthew Stafford. I remember him with a broken or with a dislocated shoulder, throwing the ball with the opposite hand to beat the Browns there. We move over to the 4:00 slate. Jacksonville at San Francisco. The Colts travel to LA to take on the Rams. The Bears take on the Las Vegas Raiders. In Baltimore. Yeah, I'm all right. In Baltimore, travels to Kansas City to take on Taylor Swift and the Kansas City Chiefs. Any chance Baltimore can win a big game?
I mean, this Chiefs team is struggling, but I think they, like I said, I have called every single Ravens loss in a big game this year. I'm going to continue to call it. So I think the Chiefs are going to win. Shout out to Mom for the score update. Detroit scored. They are currently up 1-0. And so we keep it rolling in your. I don't know why I thought the Lions on that one. I was like, what are we talking?
Right. Your Sunday night debacle in Dallas, Green Bay, and the Cowboys. Micah Parsons has said he wants his video tribute to be a win with the Packers.
No video tribute.
Yeah, number one, F your video tribute.
Well, according to Jerry, he was told no video tribute.
Yeah, good. Second, any chance we could pull the upset? Get fired up. This offense gets fired up to run right at Micah and run his ass over. Any chance my Cowboys don't give up 40?
No, I think the issue is I think you said it. Dak struggles against good defenses, and unfortunately this year I don't think you qualify. And so I'm going to give this one to the Packers here.
Boy, listen, All I'm gonna say is this, cuz do not lose to both Straub Bros Sports Show teams. I'm gonna
Yeah,
just let you
yeah.
know. So you already lost to the Browns. Do not lose to the second half of this show, or it's gonna be a painful year for you, sir. And then
2-0, by the way.
oh, 2-0 Detroit. Okay. Then a Monday night double header. I love me 2 games on Monday. I don't care who plays then, because then I don't feel bad falling asleep during the second half of the second game. The Jets at the Dolphins. Wow, this one should have been the second game, so we don't fall asleep during the first game. And then we've got Bengals at Broncos. Bengals at Broncos was supposed to be a lights out matchup, but now we got some struggle bus.
Yeah, not and so I've noticed this, and I don't know if this is something they're trying out or they want to get more viewers in the 4 o'clock slot. It seems like more of the good games are happening in the 4 o'clock slot because they know they're going to watch on Sunday and Monday night, regardless of the matchup, and so they're throwing the better games on at 4. It's just like I've noticed because it was the Chiefs and Eagles on at 4 o'clock last week. I'm trying to remember
Bears and Cowboys last week.
No, Broncos Chargers, like those are your like primetime matchups, and they're throwing them out at the 4 o'clock game. So it's pretty interesting to watch so far. I didn't notice it when they first put out the schedule, but now that we're kind of putting it on it, it's like it's weird. It's very weird.
Nathan is a liar because we will be watching it because we will be betting. And speaking of betting, that in the radio and TV genre is called a tease, kids. Boom. Your big bros, big bets, NFL week 4 parlay. I left some of these games out because, yeah, they scare me. So give me the Seahawks, give me the Bills. Put your hands down. Give me the Lions, give me the Texans, give me the Chargers, and yes, give me those Chicago Bears. Put them all together. Sprinkle in a profit boost if you don't want. It's plus $6.99 by itself. $1 brings you $6.99 if you're not familiar with how gambling does work. But I really like that one this week.
No, you're right. I can't even. I know we're gonna get demolished. It's
all right, Drew.
I said that last week.
All right, Drew. So, unfortunately, last week we had to deal with some stuff outside of the show that absolutely derailed the Premier League segment. So, I didn't get to really go back and forth with you about a really big game this weekend.
Nah.
Oh, well, boy, are we going to talk about it today.
It's fine.
Last weekend, or I should say this past weekend, Saturday morning, the Straub Brothers Derby, United and Chelsea.
So, can I just say something? When a goalkeeper gets a red card in the 5th minute, I truly don't know what kind of review or thing we want to talk about in this game.
Hey, I gave you one back. I picked up Casemiro
scoring 2.
Well, yeah, but Casemiro picked up one and made it 10 man apiece before halftime. Yeah, it was difficult for you. The goals were good. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like we got some cheap ones. But yeah, we dominated you with 10 men. I think you have a sharp attack. I just think the problem for you is with injuries and things like that. It doesn't necessarily always work out for you. Shout out to our guy Wookie.
What up?
I think I know who that is. But I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to say and look like a jerk because I don't know. But we had other results. They were Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1. Let's talk. Oh, I'm sorry. We already did talk about it. Yeah, counting down the time now, baby. Liverpool 2-1 victors. What's going on, Justin? Liverpool 2-1 victors over Everton in the Merseyside derby. I mean, Liverpool just continue to do what Liverpool does. And then the big one, though, Arsenal won, Manchester City won. Drew, they didn't win, so you don't have to give them much credit. But what did you think of that result?
I think it's the best result that any of us could really have because both been dropped points, and it's going to be big coming in the end.
Especially for me.
Especially for you fighting for that 7th place. No, but honestly, I think that this proves that I think both teams are not ready for another title push this year. I think that City is continuing to struggle, and they just don't have the edge that's going to give them, that winning streak that they usually have later in the season. And I think these points are going to really matter to them, kind of coming down the stretch. And I think this is another show that even when Manchester City is struggling, Arsenal, it takes a last-minute winner or last-minute goal to even get a point out of this kind of match. And so I don't know. I think both of these teams are having seasons that I think their fans would say are disappointing so far. I think that both teams think that they should be performing better than they are. And I think this is a game that truly proves that neither team is really ready to take on Liverpool. And I think that's the issue.
That's the real problem. We all keep dropping points and battling it out while they just keep winning and running away with the league right now. Yeah, depressing. So let's get to this week. Chelsea looked to rebound after a 2-1 loss to Manchester United this week against Brighton.
I can't wait to lose to Brentford. I cannot wait to.
Don't worry, I'm gonna lose to Brentford. Brentford, come on down to Old Trafford to take on Manchester United, and your other top matchup, Newcastle at Arsenal. Arsenal desperately need to pick up 3 points if they want to stay in the title race. Same as Chelsea, honestly. United need to pick up 3 points to stay out of the relegation race. No, not that far down. We're close.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just said yet. I just said not in the relegation race yet.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No, I mean, hey, listen. I think we bounce back. I think the Brighton team is not as good as it's been in years past, and I think is very easily concedes goals. I think we win this one. United.
Don't start. Mm-mm.
You know what?
You lost.
Give me Brentford. I don't care if it loses me this week. Give me Brentford. And then, unfortunately, give me Arsenal. I just don't think Newcastle has the defense to even do anything again this year. But
all right, that's fine. I'm going to take Chelsea, United, and Arsenal. So the United game will decide the picks for us this week. I love it. Just 3 on the board. I rolled with you on your team to keep it cheap because you know how I do. I cheat. It's my picks. Drew, anything else to wrap up this show?
I mean, thank you, everyone, listening, commenting, however you enjoy this podcast. We really appreciate it. Obviously, big weekend series for the Guardians. Check that out if you're interested. Obviously, not looking great right now, but it's early. Not worried about it. And yeah, listen, just have a great weekend, everybody. Relax, be with your loved ones, be with your friends, your family, and just enjoy yourselves.
Absolutely. Plenty of time for the Guardians to come back. I want to just hammer home what he said there about being with your loved ones. If you're tuning in late, and we appreciate you, sir. Excuse me, sir. I will see you and Nate here in a couple seconds. We love you, Pops. If you were late coming to the show, do me a favor, rewind back to the end of the college football segment. Check out the little segment we did on Annika Meyer. I'm going to be sharing, like I said, Ani's Army information for the foundation around. Definitely take a look at it. Share it around, even if you can't donate yourself. Let's get some action towards a great cause and a beautiful family too. Shout out to Mark for allowing me to come on the show and tell his story, basically, or his daughter's story, and get the word out there. So I'm appreciative to him. I got a shirt coming, so I'm very excited about that. I will be displaying that the minute I get it and we have a show. So with that being said, that will do it for us here on the Straub Bro Sports Show. I desperately hope that all of you will check out the stuff that we're sharing. We appreciate all of your comments, all of your watches, all of your likes, all of your shares, everything. It's always appreciated around here. And as always, love
till the day we die.